All right, guys, this is the video that is going to accompany the 2022 Rubber Band Lab. This is grade level and pre-AP. So you can see that the first thing it asks you to do is find the original length of your rubber band. And here is my rubber band. It's obviously not 7.5. So you want to just have it as it's, stop wiggling. Just to where it ends. So I'm going to say mine looks like it's 6.4, 6.3. 6.3 centimeters, so I'm going to change that to 6.3. 6.3 centimeters, and I'm going to do that for grade level and pre-AP. Okay, and then what we are going to do is we are going to add the mass indicated and see how that affects the length of the rubber band. So we're going to get all of this data first, and then we're going to use the spring scale to see the force required to lift these masses or to hold them above the table. All right, so 10 grams. These are the masses. This one, 10, is going to be our smallest. Right, so there's 10 grams. And what you do is you hang it. Now we're not looking to the bottom of the mass. We're looking at the rubber band. So it looks like the rubber band is at 7.9. We'll round up to 7.9. And then you want to add that to there. So 7.9, grade level, you do not need that one, so don't worry about that. 20 grams is going to be for everybody, so let's get that one out next and return this one. Okay, so here is our 20 grams weight. And that looks like maybe it's at 8.1. So not a huge difference. Okay, now grade level, this is your first mass, so you do need to have the 8.1. Pre-AP, you should have 2. Everybody gets 50. So let's do that one next. Okay, so here is the 50 gram mass. Adding it to the rubber band. And just letting it go. We're not dropping it. We are hoping for a better focus. There we go. And let's try and stop the wiggle. Hang on. All right, well, it's slowed down quite a bit, but we're at, I think, 8.8 centimeters. Now we have our 100 grams. Okay, so adding it to the rubber band and allowing it to sink down. Hoping that it doesn't rock too much. All right, so it looks like we are at 10.2 centimeters. Now we have our 200 grams, 200 gram mass. I'll let that follow it down, don't let it drop. Okay, so we've passed the 10, so that's 14, not 4. And it looks like it's maybe at 14.5 or 14.6. I'm going to go with 0.6. 14.6. Now this one is our 500 gram mass. Grade level, this is your last one. Pre-AB, we've got one more after this. And we're not going to drop it. We don't want the rubber band to break, but what I'm going to do is just follow it without pulling it. Okay. So 32. Try and use this. .8. We'll say 32.8. All right, pre-AP, this is the big 1,000 gram weight. Definitely make sure you don't drop this one or the whole thing is just gonna fall. I'm going to allow it to just drop with my hand underneath to support. Okay. So it looks like we are at 48 point, or maybe it's directly on 49. I'll say it's 49. Okay, so then you have your original length of the rubber band and the new length after the mass was added. Now, what you need to do is this column is what we're actually going to be graphing. How much did the rubber band stretch? So use a little calculator, do the math to find out how much did the rubber band stretch from there to there. Okay, now let's talk about the force required to lift. So for that, we're going to need our spring scale. So I'm going to turn this around and get rid of the meter stick. Okay, so for this part, you're going to want to make sure that the spring scale is on the Newton side. You want it balanced up to 0 because that's where you want to start measuring. And then you take your masses again, right? So here's our 10-gram mass, and you hang it up and you see how much did that change. So it went to the first line, and now you need to figure out what is this interval counting by. So it goes from 0 to 2 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it goes from 0 to 2 in 10. That means 0 to 5 is 1. So figure out the interval that the spring scale is counting by, and that is going to be the force required to lift. Remember, the units are capital N for newtons. Here is the 20-gram mass. Putting it on the spring scale. Ooh, hang on now. Let's go back to the first one. So this one is at the first line. That means this one, I think, is going to be halfway. Halfway. So this is halfway between the first and the 0 and the first line. So I'll help you out a little bit on that. The first line is 0.2. So the 20-gram mass is 0.2 newtons. Pre-AP, you need to figure out the 10-gram mass on your own. 50-gram mass for pre-AP and grade level. This is at the third line. Okay, the third line. 100 grams. Got a little bit of a swinging. Okay, 100 grams. It's past the 1. So this large line right here is going to be 1 Newton. And it looks like it is at the line underneath that. So 1 point something. 200 grams. So it looks like we are 1 line past the 2. Don't forget the interval that it's counting by. Okay. 500 grams. Okay, so we're 2 lines past the 5. Okay, then the last one is the 1,000 grams for pre-AP only. Ooh. Come on. So look, it is below the 10, so you're going to have to estimate a little bit. Okay, once you have your data, do make sure that this part is filled in. You do need your steps, you do need the variables, and a hypothesis. All right, and then what you're going to want to do is watch the video that instructs you on how to make a graph with your data to be there, and it's going to be there. It's not going to look like that. And this is what we are graphing. We are graphing this column here, how much the rubber band stretched. All right, thanks guys.